Hello, it's time for one story a week again. For today's story, so we will be having two short foci. The first one is on how to describe hot weather, typical Singaporean weather. And this is very useful because more than half your stories actually begin with normal weather, which is typical Singaporean weather, hot weather. Occasionally, you will have stories set in rainy weather, but that's quite rare. Or you might have stories that begin in the night. Also possible, but I'll say that actually more than half the stories the children will write about would be taking place in the daytime and it's normal weather. So a lot of children, they like to start their stories by describing the weather because it's simple. See, but if you just say it was a hot day, that's so boring. So here today we are going to go through like different ways of saying it, fancy ways of saying it, so that it will at least differentiate your conversation from your friends. So besides saying it's a hot day, you can also say it was a sweltering day. Sweltering has the same meaning as hot, very hot. Same as scorching, you could say it was a scorching day. Or you could say that it was a hot and humid day. Another way of describing the weather, you could say that the weather was as hot as a furnace that day. Or you could say it was as hot as an oven that day. You could also say the weather was torrid, means hot as well, sweltering, or the weather was blistering. It was so hot that blisters could have formed. Okay, now for those who are more ambitious and you want even like more fanciful ways of describing hot weathers, you could say the brilliant rays of the sun speared down. So in this case, it's like the sunlight is like a weapon, okay, like spears shooting down onto earth. The brilliant rays of the sun speared down on earth mercilessly. Then you could continue. I was perspiring profusely as I made my way home. Or you could say the heat was like a blanket suffocating the earth. There, okay? So as I said, useful skill to have, how to describe hot weather, because it's applicable to like at least half the stories, if not more, okay, that you will come across. And if you really can't think of a brilliant way to begin your story, you can always fall back upon this. But do take note that if your story is actually taking place inside a building, like in school, in class, in a shopping mall, then you cannot begin the story by describing the weather unless you build a link between the external weather and what's happening inside the building. Okay, next video will actually show different ways of saying you have an idea. So click on the next video, and after that we can actually move on to the sample story.